Welcome back to Walk with the Doc, May 17th, 2017. Our topic today, and many of you probably have heard this new expression, sitting is the new smoking. Anybody hear that? Okay, so as smoking actually incidence and prevalence go down, it's kind of pretty much relegated to the hardcore smokers, but the percentage across the U.S. population has dropped. But there are other risk factors out there for cardiovascular disease, and one of which is prolonged sitting. For those of you who may be sitting on the porch, sipping a mint julep or something, or maybe surfing on the computer, or even just Skyping with your grandkids, it's important to stay active throughout the course of the day, and those people that work 8 to 10 hours behind a computer are put at risk. So Marjorie Whelan from Occupational Health, who keeps us healthy as employees and associates of the hospital, she'll be here to tell you her thoughts on the topic today.
So my name's Marjorie and I am from Occupational Health, and let's just ask the question, how much sitting is too much? 6 hours or more in a day is too much sitting. The average adult sits 6 to 8 hours in a day. It only gets worse as we age. Those over 60 tend to sit 8.5 to 10 hours a day. It's not that sitting is bad for us, it's the dose, it's the amount that we sit. That's what's bad for us. Prolonged sitting day after day has negative effects on your health and can shorten your lifespan. If you sit, say, 8.5 hours in a day, walking or doing any exercise for 30 to 60 minutes in that day does not set off 8 hours of sitting. It's just not possible. So why is it bad? What happens in our bodies that makes prolonged sitting bad for us? One, your legs and your back. Old adage, if you don't use it, you lose it. Your legs atrophy, they get smaller, they get weaker. That puts you at a risk to fall, which can start a whole other cascade of issues for you. 2, weight gain, especially around your middle. That's the most dangerous type of weight gain you can have. So when muscles are moving, they use that insulin that your pancreas is putting out. When they're not moving, they really can't use that insulin. So you become insulin resistant. It leads to type 2 diabetes. When you're sitting and now you're getting type 2 diabetes and you have all this mass around your gut, a big gut, now you're being predisposed to something called Metabolic Syndrome. So all you think you're doing is just sitting and watching TV or doing whatever you're doing, but all these other things are going on inside of us. So metabolic syndrome is when you have high blood pressure, you have type 2 diabetes, you have that big circumference around your gut, you have high triglycerides and low HDL. If you have 3 of those, it's called metabolic syndrome. It's treatable, it's just try to avoid it. So what else happens with prolonged sitting? Our hips and our back. When you sit for a long time, I'm sweating over here. When you sit for a long time, your hip flexors actually shorten. So you can't take that nice big step that you could have before. Your vertebrae compress. It can lead to premature degeneration of your back. What else? Anxiety and depression from too much sitting. Why? Because when we move, our brain releases something called endorphins. It's our natural feel-good. But if you're sitting all the time, you will become depressed and anxious because you don't have your natural endorphins. You can get varicose veins. Now, it might not be dangerous to your health, but they're unsightly, and that's from all the blood just pooling in your lower legs. You can get blood clots. because you're not moving. So the blood clots are called DVTs, deep vein thrombosis. They start in your low legs, but they can come up and go into your heart. Now you have a medical emergency. So who would have thought that just sitting for too long, all these things were going on behind the scenes? So what can you do? If you're one of those people, well, first of all, the fact that you're here and you're going to take a walk, I think I'm speaking to the crowd, but if you're one of those people who sit too much, just stand. Stand for 1 to 3 minutes every 1 to 2 hours. Just stand. Within 90 minutes, 90 seconds, 90 minutes, 90 seconds of standing, your body has already released chemicals to help process the fats, the sugars, the triglycerides, the cholesterol within 90 seconds. All you have to do is stand. Standing is like walking. You can lose weight, you can increase your metabolism. That's it. Just stand. Even if you can't walk first. If you're going to be on the phone, try to walk and talk. Don't sit and speak. Try swimming. Try mowing the lawn. Try walking. Any of those things, just to get you moving a little bit. The goal would be to decrease sitting by 15 to 20 minutes each day, or just make it a work in progress, so that you are sitting 2 to 3 less hours in a week. Why sitting does all these things for us, to us, we're not really sure. We just know that they do. People who sit for a prolonged period of time have more heart disease, they have more heart attacks, they have more strokes. People who sit for a long period of time have an increased risk for lung cancer, 66% increased risk for uterine cancer, a 30% increased risk for colon cancer. We're not sure why. We just know it occurs. So my message to you as we start off on our walk, which we're already doing pretty much, just stand and you'll start to make yourself better. Thank you very much.
Any questions for Marjorie? I have a question for you. So
Yes.
what do you think about those walking treadmills in front of a desk, or even the desks that are actually raised up high for your computer?
I think they're a very good idea. I think they're a very good idea. I think that standing is much healthier than sitting.